It is a weird time to be alive for someone like me who puts movie reviews on YouTube, but really everyone. Before I even start this video of what I want to talk about, I just want to acknowledge I know that the movie industry is such a small blimp in what is actually happening within the world right now. So I'm not trying to minimize any of that because it feels almost wrong to even acknowledge like how this affects your personal life or your social life or anything like that. So I understand that like everything that I'm going to be saying in this video might sound self-centered and selfish. So I do realize that there's so many bigger issues that are happening in the world right now because of what is happening in the past 2 weeks. However, I do want to take this video to just talk about the movie industry because it is being heavily affected by it. Kind of the first major realization that this was going to affect movies was when James Bond got delayed all the way till November. And at the time, this was before people were taking this virus as seriously as they are now. So people were kind of shocked. Like, you're actually going to take this major motion picture release and push it back that many months. And then not long after, people realized that that was the correct move to make. We started seeing other movies follow suit, like Fast 9 being delayed a year, Mulan, A Quiet Place 2, and then movie theaters started to cut back on seating. And I think people really started taking this seriously like once sports got canceled, but then AMC came out and said they're going to limit their capacity to 50%. So they were only going to let 50% of people into a theater, tried to stagger them, I believe, like every other seat, and other movie theaters started to do the same thing. Problem was nobody was going to go to movie theaters. And so like when James Bond initially got pushed all the way back to November, it wasn't necessarily because they didn't want people in the theaters. Like, yes, I think that was part of it, but also it's a huge money loss. I mean, you look at China's box office and it is just completely gone from where it was at last year. And so I think the US figured it'd be the same thing, so they were trying to get ahead of the curve. But now, like when movies were going to be released, now they're looking at, okay, only 50% of people are going to go to theaters anyway, so we don't want to release now because we're going to lose out on a lot of money, especially global box office, because again, looking at China's box office, a movie like Fast and Furious 9, that's going to get a lot of money from overseas, so they're not going to make near what they expect if they release it now. So with all these major releases not being released, what are you left with? Well, you got movies like The Hunt. Onward is still kind of in theaters. Black Widow was still up in the air at this point, although now we know that's also being pushed back. So it was all these smaller movies that they didn't really care that much about profit, but really like there was nothing huge being released and nothing even worth seeing in my opinion, especially with the risk of going out. Like, why would I risk my health to go out and see The Hunt? It's just not worth it. Then in the past couple of days, even more information came out. AMC, Regal, Cinemark, I'm pretty sure Marcus Theater at this point, all closing their doors for the time being. They're not even open. There are no movies being released, and the majority of theaters around this country are completely closed. Now, this isn't the case for every theater. I'm sure there's still a lot of smaller chains and indie movie theaters that are still open, probably still trying to like keep capacity pretty low, but it would not surprise me at all within the next even couple days that would change, especially as it seems like state laws are getting more hands-on with what businesses can be open and what businesses can be closed. So it would not surprise me if they follow what bars and restaurants are doing and just saying, nope, no movie theaters are allowed to be open at all, which is absolutely insane. And again, I'm not trying to minimize like all the actual disaster that this virus is bringing, because movie theaters is just nothing in comparison. But like when you do think of it from strictly a movie standpoint, like it's insane the impact that this has had on pretty much every single part of culture. Not only that, but movie making is like completely suspended. Disney, again, King Disney of the movie industry, no live action production is being done right now. That's absolutely insane. So not only are we going to see movies being delayed right now, but in months and years to come, we are going to see a complete gap in when movies were not being made. And so what are movie studios doing right now? Well, a lot of them are going straight to video on demand. We saw Disney do this with Frozen 2. They were supposed to release on Disney Plus, I don't even know when, I think this summer at some point, but they push it all the way up to like immediately. Like, yep, you can watch Frozen 2 now. Why? Because they know people are home and gonna be watching Disney Plus. They released Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker a little bit early, not on Disney Plus, unfortunately, but that makes sense. They have that for sale though, video on demand, so you can buy that early. Movies like The Invisible Man, Bloodshot, The Hunt, they're all on video on demand like a week after they came out. Even this morning, Onward, the Disney Pixar movie that came out a month ago, is now gonna be on Disney Plus in like 2 weeks. How crazy is that? A Pixar movie that just came out a month ago, you were going to be able to watch essentially for free on your own TV. And you got movies like Trolls World Tour, which Trolls is a phenomenon when it comes to box office. It's going to be released on demand the same day it's released in theaters. And so this is a huge turning point in the movie theater industry, because if this model is successful, more movies might look to do this rather than release in theaters. If they can make close to the same amount of money by putting it on demand that as people would go and buy a ticket to see it in theaters, it's worth it. Because here's the issue. The movie theater is going to get a small percentage of the film's box office. Now, not a lot, especially for larger releases. So like when Disney releases a movie like Star Wars, they can give the movie theater such a small percentage because they know the movie theater wants them to play Star Wars. And so yes, it's no surprise that the majority of a movie theater revenue becomes from concessions like popcorn and drinks, and that's why they upcharge them so much. Movie theaters start to realize that they can make the same, maybe even more money by releasing it at home, then they're going to start to use that model. The question is, how much are they going to charge for this? Because we already pay subscriptions to like Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus, HBO, Amazon Prime, Stars. Just go watch my other video on all the streaming services. But if they start to individually charge us for each movie, it's going to start to get expensive. And I know I can't complain because everyone already pays individual movies when they go to theaters, except for me who has AMC A-List, so that's kind of a shot to me if they're not going to release them in theaters and put them for me to buy. The point is, this could drastically change the film industry, especially for these indie movies that no one's going to see in theaters, and you're more likely to just watch it on your screen. Sure, you might do that. Like if you see The Hunt for a very cheap rental and you're just like, yep, I just want to watch this in my own home. I don't want to go out to see this. I don't want to pay $20. I want to make my own popcorn. That makes sense for some people. Now, I don't think this model is going to work for everything. For like instance, Black Widow or like a Star Wars movie, which I know there's not any more Star Wars movies, thanks God. But like no one would want to watch the new Star Wars on their own. They would want to go see that in theaters. They want to experience that at a late night showing the first day with a packed theater full of fans. So is the movie theater industry dead because of this? I don't think so, but this next month is definitely going to tell us. If they decide to release a movie like Black Widow on Disney Plus, that's going to be a game changer, and I really think a lot of it depends on that movie. Movies like James Bond and Fast 9, they've already kind of figured out, like, no, we're just going to wait. We want it to be in theaters. But Black Widow, there's no release date, so they could just drop it on us and just see what happens. Especially because they have a whole schedule of all these other Marvel shows, and I guarantee you shows like what, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think. No. Yeah. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't know the names of these. WandaVision, all the, just whatever. All these Marvel shows, they're probably going to intertwine with Black Widow, so they need Black Widow to come out first. So if this whole virus situation isn't cleared up by then, I can see them just dropping Black Widow because they need to stick to the schedule to release on Disney Plus. And so the question is, how much is this going to actually affect the movie theater industry? Because we know movies are going to be fine. Video on demand, Netflix, Disney Plus, all of them, they're going to be fine. Movie theaters specifically, because we already have seen a shift in movie-going audiences. Their numbers are down, and they've been down. Now, things will happen, like when MoviePass came out. That was a huge sell for people going back to the theaters, and then AMC A-List, that helped them a lot too, but like, people don't go to movies like they used to, especially with all the streaming options we have now. However, I'm not willing to count them out just yet, because there's something so special about going to the movies. It takes you out of whatever situation you are in. I think that's one of the most unfortunate parts about this whole virus, is that the movie theater would be a great escape for a lot of people, to just get out of their world, to just shut the world out, to turn their phones off, to just eat someone else's snacks that they made for you and just sit and stare at a screen for 2 hours and then get back to the real world. But we can't even get that. And I think that's what video on demand can't give you. Like when you're at home watching a movie on your own screen, you get distracted by everything else that's going on around you. You can watch it in the morning, late at night. It doesn't really make a difference. But there's something special about carving out time in your day and going and making effort to go somewhere to watch a movie, and we've lost that. Will we bounce back? I'm sure we will. I think, though, for a lot of these smaller indie movies, they're going to realize that this isn't the best model for them, and there's a big audience for people that want to watch these things at home. I think these larger movies, they're going to still benefit from the theater experience. However, I wish that all movies would still stick to this model, because it's something I just love very much. I genuinely love going to the movie theaters, and I think that's what's hurting the most, is to see that this might shift away. And I'm not trying to be this person that's just like, this is the way it's been, so this is the way it has to stay. I'm all for innovation, I'm all for change, I'm all for progress. But it's not the same thing. I don't want to watch a new Marvel movie on my TV for the first time. I want to watch it in a late night theater with so many fans around me, all cheering, all just crying, and all sharing the same emotion. And that's something that we just don't get when we watch movies on our own. So yeah, this stings a lot for people who like to review movies, but I'm still going to try to do that. I'm still going to try to release a lot of interesting things on this channel for you to see, a lot of streaming movies. Hopefully I'll talk about some other things, but please, 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 and I say this more than ever, please like and please subscribe. I could use it. We could all use it. Share the love. Be there for one another. Wash your hands, and I will see you next time.